All right, welcome to Tactic Academy, where we'll be looking at scientific methods. So, in this lesson or sessions, we'll look at general properties, steps, all right, and also what a theory is, what a law is, and also just what's the meaning of hypothesis, all right, and other stuff that we can come across as scientists, all right. So, what we are going to do is okay, so can we start? We see what is happening. Okay, so by the way, we need to understand one thing here. Um, we can't just be scientists. We don't know even the definition of science. That's bad. Okay, so so a science is just a framework for gaining and organizing knowledge. So be there to gain and also organize knowledge. As scientists, that's the reason why you are here. Anyone who studies science, be if chemistry, physics, well, everything you are writing, chemistry, physics, that's a science, all right. So don't even to say I'm not a scientist. You are scientist so long as you study. So even mathematics is also science. Okay. So let's say you always drive. This is your home. Okay, so this is your home. Then there's this road which is just always facing congestion, and this is your school, all right. So there are always cars, a lot of cars in this road. Okay, so since there are a lot of cars in this road, okay, then you always drive. Okay, the road continues like that. Then it was you need to report there by 6 hours, all right. So, but you always reach there by what? 7, let's say 25 or 7:30, meaning you are missing some lessons. So, as a scientist now, you try to discover some things, all right? So, you go on a Google map to say. So, once you go on a Google map there, okay? So, once you go on a Google map there, you'll be there, you see. You by the way, first what will make you actually even do all these scientific methods, you follow scientific methods, it is the problem that you have. So we are always there to what, to modify or to what, to renew our existing what um um problems or just the things that we use. Okay, so what you're going to do is you go on a map. So as a scientist, you go on a map to say I need to make a what, a good what, a good load for me. Let's say the other route, say Chivombo there, the other route there, the other route there, the other route. All these routes are going what, to school. All right. Okay. So they say this is route A, this is route B, this is route C, this is route D. All right. So all these routes are going what, to school there. Okay. So what happens that you go on a map. So the first thing that you are going to do first is to observe that map, Google Map. So you say make what, making observations. All right. So these are the steps now we have started. All right. So scientific methods. All right. So you make observations. After you make observations, what do? You say, oh, this one A at least is better. Okay, so I'll use what, I'll use A. So what, that problem, I mean the possible explanation you have explained, because you have chosen that A to say at least A is possible because of this. That possible explanation to say I think this is this, you are supporting it, so it's possible for you to explain it to someone. So you do what, you formulate a hypothesis. All right, so that is what we call formulating hypothesis. So what is this hypothesis? Hypothesis is just what, a possible explanation for what, an observation. Okay, so that's what we call what, that is what we call hypothesis. Then the other thing that you're going to do is now you are going to drive it using the same route you have from what, making a hypothesis on. So you now experiment or perform an experiment. All right. So you perform an experiment like that. Okay, so after you perform an experiment, then what do? So you are done there. Then the other things, that's when they will follow, such as theory, law, those terms now follow as due to what will be produced. Okay, so that is all about scientific method. So there are just three in general. All right, so but they can be main depends on what, on the problem that you have. So you can have a lot of them with you, depends. Let's say you say make observations, then get reference material, which is just again referring to a certain theory, everything like that. So that is it. So that's about a science. Okay, a scientist, especially chemists, now pay attention. You are there now to, a chemist is always a problem solver. Why? Because these complicated reactions need what, total mastering. And if you can master things like things that are complicated, organic reaction, everything like that, then you'll be a good problem solver. So appreciate that. Okay, so as a chemist, appreciate that. Okay, so appreciate that as a chemist. Okay, so now the first thing, now we are now talking about what, scientific methods. All right, so now this is what we call now scientific what, all right. Okay, so the first thing that you did was to do what, was to formulate I mean to make observation. So the first thing in scientific methods that you can do is making what, observations of that problem. Okay, so making observations, you observe, what is this, what caused this, you just observe to say why is it concerning. Okay, so you have observed because it is concerning. So what are the, what can you do from there, since oh this is the thing, you are now able to explain to say, at least if I do this way. So you did what, you made what we call now to say route A is the best way. So that's what we call now, that's just the possible explanation to say I think route A because of this. That possible explanation for that observation is what we call now a hypothesis. So you now formulate what, you formulate so formulating a what, a hypothesis. All right, so we'll get to understand what a hypothesis is. So when you ask the difference, make sure that you are able to what, to define. So after you make your hypothesis, now what you do is now to what, at least perform an experiment, see, drive to see what time you reach at a school. So what, that's what we call now performing an experiment. So that's the third step. All right, as a scientist you perform an experiment. Okay, okay, so after performing an experiment, then what you are going to do is okay, so now you are done with these are the just basic steps. All right, so it would depends with the nature of that problem you are solving. There can be many steps, but these are the basic steps. So you can give 5. All right, so now what about what makes 5? So what makes 5 is just the formulating of what, a theory, and also which is also called a model, and also what, a law. So those ones will make 5. Okay, so I will start now listing them like this. Okay, so once you are taught quiz, can you list 5? So you assume to say everything now you are doing is now succeeding. Okay, yeah, it is just going on well. So after you formulate, you perform an experiment. So you repeat that, try to repeat that hypothesis which you have conducted experiment on. Try to repeat at least twice. Okay, twice. Okay, you perform an experiment twice. So if it gives the same results, okay, once it agrees with the result that were first formed in the first trial, then once they agree, okay, that's when now you form what, you assemble those into what, a theory. Okay, so assembling or formulating of what, so formulating what, a theory now, if they agree. Okay, so if they agree, formulating a theory, if succeed. Okay, okay, if succeed, then formulate a theory. Okay, so the fourth one or the fifth step is what, Now once those, now the theory that you have just made, okay, the theory that you have just made, so I will define a theory for you. So what is this theory we are talking about? So a theory is just a set of tested hypotheses. You have tested some hypothesis, all right. So then, since theory it is just a set of tested hypotheses, those ones I said, the what, at least conduct 3 of them, okay, then you formulate a theory if they agree. You get the point? If they agree, formulate a what? A theory. Now what is this theory? A theory is just a tested what? Hypothesis. The hypothesis that you have tested there, now this is what we call a theory. So a tested hypothesis okay, a tested hypothesis that that gives an overall explanation for some natural phenomena. So a tested hypothesis that gives an overall, okay, an overall explanation. So it will give the overall explanation because you have done it, okay. So explanation of what, of that problem, or of somewhat, some just natural phenomenon. All right, a natural phenomenon is just a problem to say natural phenomenon. All right, phenomenon. Okay, so that's what we call a what? A theory. Okay, so that's a theory. Okay, so after now you gather your theory like that, you have formulated because there's been agreeing with all the hypotheses that you made. Once you tested, they were giving the same thing. Let's say you drive the first on Monday, you drive it, you have reached there at squat what? 7 hours again. The second thing again, let's say 7:59 or just 7 hours again. All right, again the third trial again, you give you, let's say 6 what? 59, which is just the same. All right, so now you formulate what? A theory, okay, to say, oh, the best route to use when driving to school is this route, such route. So people will be following that theory, okay. You say what? Gen theory. So gen theory states that you need to drive using this route, okay. So that's what people will be using for you as a result of you testing that. So after you formulate a theory, now if it is succeed, formulating a theory if succeed, okay. So after that, then you go now to what? If now, okay, when those result in the theory has actually agreed, okay, so those theory, let's say this theory after sometimes again, let's say next year again, you test the same thing. Since you have recorded to say the best route is, so let's say route A, okay, route A is the theory, okay. So since route A is the theory, so this is the theory 1, okay. So again next year I'll test the route A again. It has given the same what? The same time, okay, 6:59, 7 hours, 7 hours. So if now the results are the same after and before, that's what we call now formulating of what? Formation of a law. All right, formulating formation of what? Of a law. Ole. So if the results are the same before and after, you formulate a law. So those are the steps. You can put them, let's say this is what, let's say this is D, this is E, okay. So there are 5. You formulate a law. So what is this law we are talking about? Okay, so we need to understand a law. So a law is just a summary of observed or measured behavior. All right, okay, so this is just a summary. All right, a summary of what? Observed, what you have just observed. It will be there to summarize, and we will fix this. So it's a law, it will be there. Let's say we have tried it in 2021, 2022 and 2023. It has given the same thing before and after. Now we formulate a what? A law, which is just a summary, okay. So a summary of what? Observed what? A law is just a summary of what? Observed or measured behavior. So observed or measured, okay, measured behavior. All right, so a summary of that behavior is what we call a law. Okay, then a theory, we said, is just an explanation of a behavior. So a tested hypothesis that give an overall what explanation. Okay, so we are saying now a theory is just a tested hypothesis that gives an overall explanation of a what of a problem or some natural phenomenon. So a theory will be there, what, it's just a set of tested, so a set, so this is just a set of what tested hypothesis that gives an overall explanation of some natural phenomenon. So that is it. Then a law is just a summary of observed or just measured behaviors. All right, so that is it. A theory is just an explanation of a behavior. It has been explained, it's just an overall, so to explain that. Then now, so a law, a theory, a law will be there to do what, to summarize. Then a theory will be there to do what, to explain why it happens like that. So a theory explains. Okay, so that is it. So it will explain what happens. Okay, so that's about theory, law, and so they are just basically what, 3 of them. So you can include this formulating of a theory if you succeed, and also formulating of a law if what agrees. Okay, so that is it. So otherwise, guys, these are the things you need to consider. So they can be other terms, but these are just the basics. Okay, so thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next video, where we'll be looking at something else, precision, everything, accuracy, everything like that, measurements and other stuffs. Okay, thank you very much for watching the video.